Hi everybody, I'm new on YouTube. I opened the channel a while ago, but I never did something with it. So let me introduce myself to a certain point. Let me tell something about myself. I'm a grown-up and I am a grandma, and my granddaughter is 4 months old, and she is growing like well, a bit of big speed. She's getting fattier and so, and bigger, and she's beautiful. She's a very nice baby. She's good looking, of course. That's what grandmas always say about the grandchildren. But now about me. I shall show you some things about me that tell you a little bit about who I am. I love ferrets. I do have one. I had multiple in the past, but it's not so good to have many because they're in nature. When they are the wild ones, not the domesticated ones like the ferret, they have their own territory, and when you have more ferrets, it gives a lot of stress, and it literally can kill them. So I have, at this moment, I have one ferret. I will show him a little bit later on. Of course, my hobby is reborns. I started with it last year, September. This was for my first reborn. This is the Annie kit of Elisa Marx from Germany. He's a boy in my case, and his name is Jonathan. He's not so well reborn, unfortunately to say. That wasn't very well to judge on the many photos on eBay where I bought him, but he has also glued on a little glued on wig. Let me see. This is the iPad, and everything goes very big. It's 100% what you see on the iPad is what it's in real. He has a glued on wig. So I often do have a hat on. Of course, he's a newborn. I always say he's 1 week old, and in my country, newborns have to have the first weeks of their life a hat on, because they can't regulate their warmth of their body very well, and they need the hat on their head, because they lose the most of their warmth via their head. So, well, then it's not so problematic to have a hat on his head. At this moment, it's very hot in here, very hot in our country, and especially where I live. And he's only in a what we call romper. You call it a onesie in America, and it is with as you see, with forest animals. And well, he is modeled. He has some modeling. I don't know if you can see that very well. He's a bit shiny, but he's not so very. You can see little veins, and yes, he's modeled. You can see it a little bit over there, and these are his feet and his nails, but that was done very, very ugly. The white stripes aren't on the end of the nails, so that's why I say he's not reborn very well. But there are some points that are do look good. And here's a vein too, and over there, and the modeling, and you see, this is his other foot. Sorry, that's plural, multiple. This is his foot on the downside. His arms are, he has 3/4 arms and whole legs. He had an original doe suede body, but it didn't have, here are veins too, it didn't have the how do you say that? What makes the arms and the legs move like this? It didn't have that. It was rigid, and I didn't like that. I wanted to move his legs just as I could move his hands, and well, that's why I got him a new body. And now he has small cloth. So you see, very small, but he has the movable parts in here now. So now I can move his legs any way I want, and it's much better. And fortunately, they don't cross like this, because I hate that. I see that sometimes with reborns, and I don't like that. It's so unnatural. But he doesn't do that. He keeps them like this when I don't do anything with it. So that is Jonathan, and he's my first. And unlike his little faults, but not his little faults, but from the one who reborn him, I love him very much. He has no eyebrows, but he had a little bit wet nose, wet eyes, and I like his lips because they're not so very pink. Like, yeah, I have a girl who has pink. Here you see the glue. It's shiny, and that's she did also hair painting, but that's the problem. She used a glue on his whole head for this little bit of hair, and it's shiny too. And there must be glue that dries up without being shiny. Yeah, these are his ears. They're very nice, detailed. Here is the hair painting again. Here are when they're first born, they have a lot of hair on their face too, but she hair painted him too. So if I take a brush, let me see if I can do that, and I brush his hair, it's not going too good like this, but then here is another. It's like a little wig. It's going from the top. It's going around. The hairs are going around, and they're in different length. So, but I love him very much. He was my first one. So he has a stork bite. You can't see it very good over here. And he has a little vein here on his eye, and some redness, and a little rosy cheeks, and open nose with black felt. And yeah, I love him very much, despite his not so very well done parts, to say so. So I'm not going to do him get rid of him like selling him again or whatever. He stays. He really will stay. I love him. I love the sculpt. I'm very much in love with any sculpt. And he has a little frown, and I always say he's frowning because he has a little bit of colic in his belly. and that's why his fingers are a little bit moving too, and they're not relaxed. When they're really sleeping, their hands are always really relaxed, but in this case this one is, but this one isn't, like you can see. And well, that's my first reborn to introduce to you. And this is the nursery. This is part of clothing. It's an alcove. I'm living in a old farmhouse, but we're not farmers. I do have horses and chickens and guinea pigs and a ferret, as you already know. And this is a bed. It's a bed to sleep in, and it's in an alcove. And as you see, it's built in. And in many old farmhouses, that was the way to sleep. In an we call that a bedstay. There's the birth certificate of my second reborn, but I will introduce you to her some later. So this was Jonathan, and we will see and hear of each other again. So bye bye.